If you guys don't know, there was a lot of EU political figures in the Epstein files as well. Now, I'm going to go down a list of political figures that have resigned or being put on immense pressure on resigning.
The Dow Jones, guys, hit new all-time highs as of today. So what kind of drove the Dow Jones to bust to 50,000? So it's basically a sector rotation. You guys know the S&P 500 is the top 500 stocks of the world. You guys know that QQQ is basically the ETFs for technology, but there has been a shift in the sectors in the stock market. Tesla is only 16% under from all-time highs, and it was at minus 22% from all-time highs at its lowest, and it's held that area of interest at $384, which is where it bounced back in November. After it had a really good earnings, Tesla continued to run, and then it sold off in middle of November. You can file for what's called a TTS tax filing. That's called the trader tax status. With the TTS filing, you can basically qualify your trading as a business, and it allows you to write off expenses like a normal Schedule C. Welcome back to another episode of The Market Take, breaking down what's happening around the world in the markets and in crypto.
And if you like being informed about this kind of stuff, please consider subscribing to our channel. And if you do watch our content and you're not sure if you're subscribed, please double check. A lot goes into making these videos, and we get super motivated when we see that people are interested. So yeah, thank you.
Welcome back to another episode of The Market Take. The day is February 9th. We got a jam-packed show for you guys as always. We're going to go over some world news, some stocks, crypto, give you guys a little update on the Epstein stuff. Let's get into the juice. What's up, Justin?
What's going on, man? You know, the news was pretty calm this week. Nothing breaking, but there's some updates to be talked about. Of Epstein, of course, and I think people are starting to finally put the pressure on about it.
There was no breaking news because the puppet masters wanted to take off for Super Bowl. So they're like, you know what? I guess we can let them chill for 2 days.
That's right, guys. Super Bowl was yesterday. Seahawks won. I got to be honest. I liked the halftime show.
Dude, the halftime show was cool.
I liked it.
But I didn't watch the Super Bowl. This is the first Super Bowl I didn't watch.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either, man. I honestly, man. I don't
know if it was a mixture of going out on Saturday that I didn't want to do anything on Sunday. But even as I looked at the bets, I'm like, I don't even want to bet on this game.
Yeah. I heard the game was really, really boring for a while.
Yeah, and last minute I was gonna bet on the Seahawks, but they were like minus 200, so it just wasn't worth the spread. It wasn't worth it.
All right, let's get into it, man.
Let's
talk about Epstein again.
Yeah. All right, guys. So stuff going on. So if you guys did not know, Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton have scheduled testimonies to go over the Epstein files on February 26th and February 27th, guys. So this is going to be a congressional hearing and not a criminal court trial. So for anyone that doesn't know what a congressional hearing is, it's basically a political investigation to gather information. There's no lawyer speaking in this. There's not going to be any attorney interventions. It's basically a formal hearing to gather information and not guilt. Okay, so just to piggyback off this, so this came from a Republican-led subpoena back in November. So in November, they subpoenaed Bill and Hillary Clinton, and they basically refused to comply with the subpoena up until on January 21st, the House of Representatives said that they would hold both of the Clintons in contempt if they continued to deny the subpoenas. And then on February 2nd, exactly last week, they both said that they would come and basically do their testimonies on February 26th and 27th. So also what's going on today is that Congress got access to all of those files that we saw, but they got the unredacted files. So I'm sure like you guys saw, we saw a bunch of black boxes everywhere, right? Well, today, this is literally happening right now. Congress got all the files redacted. So why is this super important? Well, this is to determine whether the Trump administration has fully complied with the Epstein Transparency Act, meaning you got to show everything. So if you guys remember, Cash and Trump were saying, "Oh, there's nothing on the Epstein. There's nothing on the Epstein," and that was blatant lies. And it enraged basically all the public, as it should. So it makes me wonder if they're running some kind of psyop, that when they do these testimonies, that they're going to drop some more bombshell stuff on them that they're not aware of. Because it was Hillary and Bill that were saying, okay, well, let's make this public. Well, let's make this public. I was
just to say that.
So how do you get the whole country so riled up? They're like, no, we want to see this. Is you literally tell them 1 + 1 is 3. Meaning that, hey, this Epstein stuff is not true. It's just fake, even though everyone knows it's true. Just like we all know 1 + 1 is 2. So if you tell somebody, hey, 1 + 1 is 3, what are you talking about? They'll be like, are you retarded? R-worded? It's clearly 2. We all know it's 2. We all know that there's crazy stuff on these files. So it does make me wonder if the administration is playing some kind of game to get these people to come out in the limelight and then expose more stuff.
You know, going back to the public thing, what I noticed was this, right? And Trump's thing was like, and I'm not defending the Clintons at all, okay? Trump's big thing was this, like he was always hell bent on bringing the Clintons to justice, right? And then, you know, when the Clintons bite back on social media, let's make this completely public. I want to record it. It's got to be videoed, everything. Like, it's going to be full on. Everyone's going to see it. Now, what do you know? Congress or whatever, or like, doesn't want to make it as doesn't want to make it as public. They want to do it in like certain parameters, make certain parts only public, or otherwise it's behind closed doors. That's
but now they're saying it's going to be fully public.
I hope it is,
as it should be.
I hope so.
Guys, I'll tell you what, if we can get on the streets and riot about everything that the country has rioted about in the last 4 or 5 years, we can riot about this stuff if it does not come to justice.
Say protest.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Say the
protest. Well, this is a riot, and we should all riot.
Stop, bro.
Oh, is it the YouTube algo that's gonna?
Bro, you just.
If we can all protest for everything that we've protested in the last 5 years, we should all be able to protest this.
Yeah, I mean, this is to me, this is the only thing that matters right now in politics, right? This is like the last and final shot that either party has at redeeming themselves, in my opinion. Like, we voted you in because this was one of the main reasons you brought up and you wanted to release was this, and now it's like this big headache to do it. And like, this is and like everything else you kind of like piggybacked on a lot. Like, this is the last shot, I feel like.
Well, like I'm saying, it could be a ploy. There could be more going on behind the scenes, but we need to see some justice served and not some just, oh, we arrested this person.
No, I want to see big names in
just
cuffs.
sweep it under the rug. Well, there was some big names, right?
Not in cuffs. Before I get into that, like, I mean, like you were saying, I personally don't want to see some irrelevant BS name that was in the files that gets arrested and they call it a day. That, like, the stuff that was in the files was absolutely disgusting, despicable, and horrendous, with a lot of big important names in our society, in the U.S. society. And I want to see they need to make an example out of those people to gain trust back into your citizens, to be honest. But yeah, going back to what you were saying, aside from the U.S. having its qualms about this, the EU is handling it, I feel like, a lot better. If you guys don't know, there was a lot of EU political figures in the Epstein files as well. And I'm going to go down a list of political figures that have resigned and are being put on immense pressure on resigning. But the people that have resigned, mainly UK political figures, interestingly. But yeah, the people that have resigned because they were mentioned in the Epstein files extensively. Peter Mandelson, the ambassador to the U.S., the UK ambassador to the U.S. He was appointed by Keir Starmer, who is the Prime Minister of the UK right now. Morgan McSweeney, Keir Starmer's chief of staff, has also resigned. Guys, a lot of these people were appointed by Keir Starmer, by the way, as I'm going down this list. Starmer's director of communication. Their name was withheld, but I'm pretty sure that could be fine. That could be found quite quickly. And then going into Miroslav Lajčák from Slovakia.
Lajčák.
The national security advisor of Slovakia to the prime minister. She has resigned. Jack Lang from France.
That's funny because we got a friend named Jack.
I know. And why is this Jack Lang? Well, okay. Jack Lang, former culture education minister and head of Arab World Institute, a prestigious cultural role in France, resigned. He appeared over 670 times in the files. Mona, this one caught me by surprise, by the way, right here. I thought Norway was based, but I guess not. Mona Juul, prominent diplomat ambassador of Norway. She was a key figure in the Oslo Accords, and she stepped down over a serious failure of judgment in the Epstein connections, and she's now under investigation for corruption. Brad Karp, U.S. chairman of major Wall Street law firm Paul Weiss, resigned after emails revealed personal business communications with Epstein. Dinners, favors, job help for his son, etc. Now, Keir Starmer, going back to Keir Starmer, the UK wants him gone. They want him to resign, and they want him to resign now. But Keir seems to be stern on serving out his term, but we'll see how that plays out. Yeah, but other notable cases too from pressure of the fallout. Larry Summers, Treasury Secretary, stepped back from his roles. Howard Lutnick, U.S. Commerce Secretary. They're calling him for to resign right now. He hasn't quite resigned yet, but he's been on the files quite a bit as well. So yeah, you're starting to see the topplings and, the effects of the release of the Epstein files.
People just resigning. So I want to see those arrests.
I want to see it. Yeah. Usually, usually after resigning, you do see an arrest. Usually. But yeah, this is the start of it. This is the start of it. People like governments. Mm-hmm. UK's government. We just read it, dude. The UK's government is basically has basically resigned.
So I think we should just leave Earth and go to the moon.
Yeah.
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 So. I was gonna say. So, guys, Elon in the news a lot, of course, with his tweets or X's about the Epstein stuff. But let's move along past the Epstein stuff and let's talk about what else is going on. So, SpaceX is shifting their focus into the moon cities. So, if you guys remember, Elon's big thing was about going to the moon. They might have water there, yada yada. But basically, getting set up on a moon, getting set up on a city in Mars would take them 20, 30 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, like
where Elon is estimating if they shift the focus and try to build a moon city, it'll only take them about 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What did you want to add on that?
No, I was gonna say, yeah, like their main focus was usually, building civilization on Mars, building a city on Mars. But dude, that's like you hit it on the head. But
and one of the big reasons for that is it's only possible to travel to Mars when the planets align, which is every 26 months, and the trip time takes 6 months, whereas we can launch to the moon basically every 10 days, and it's a 2-day trip.
Super fast.
Right.
I didn't know the moon was.
It's right there, dude.
I know, but like,
how many times have our portfolios touched it?
Yeah, but I was just saying, like, I didn't know it was inhabitable like that. But like with today's technology, you could build literally a civilization anywhere. It's gonna be completely enclosed, probably. But yeah, do you know on the top of your head if Moon has like life form on there? Possibly life form.
Just
like microbes.
Just Transformers. From what I know.
Oh, the
Decepticons and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know if the moon one had any type of water or chemical or elemental compound to aid life.
Yeah.
In any regard, but we could just make that stuff.
And then speaking of the moon, like there's so much stuff happening that. Why has the world not talked about NASA going back to the moon? NASA hasn't gone back to the moon since the 90s.
I know. It's been really under the water. Yeah. So, guys, if you don't know, NASA is about to literally launch a rocket with astronauts to the moon. It was supposed to be this month, but now it's been delayed to March because something broke on the ship.
Yeah, they on their rehearsal they had some, or on their wet dress they call it. They had some errors with the with like a fuel link.
It was like a hydrogen link or something.
Right. Yeah. And then so they had to reschedule it, and then now it's going under some repairs, but they're getting set to launch in March. Yeah, March, guys. It's called the Artemis 2. And no, it's not going to be land. I was upset. Maybe this is why it's not so much on the news, because it's not going to be landing on the moon. It's going to be rotating around the moon. It's going to be circling the moon for a few laps, then come back. Come on, just land on it. Did you guys hear Hendy back to the moon? I'm not convinced we ever went. There we go. There. I can't remember if it was on Netflix or Amazon, but there's actually a pretty good movie about the whole moon landing. How basically in the movie they said that there was a stage setup because they weren't sure if the astronauts were gonna make it, but they did make it. But the actual like landing itself wasn't aired because they weren't sure if they were going to make it or not make it, so they only aired what was recorded in the studio. But Hendy, I kind of agree with you. I don't think they ever went. I think it was a flex because the Soviet space program in U.S. didn't want to seem like they were behind. Call me a foil head, but I don't think we ever landed on the moon. What? I'm the last person to speak about like space voyaging and like rocket ships and all that. But there's a really good podcast out there with Palmer Luckey debunking people that don't believe in the moon landing. And he's just like, I forgot who was it with that he was it was with Joe Rogan. Yeah. You guys should definitely watch that podcast because Joe Rogan, brought up some questions about the moon landing and everything. And Palmer Luckey's a smart guy. He could just be a psyop too. Who knows? Yes. But speaking of Palmer Luckey, that guy's hilarious. So there was news that went out on February 6th, 3 days ago, and it was breaking, right? So the news headline goes, France has gone all in on science, investing 30 million pounds in AI, health, and climate initiatives. Palmer Luckey tweeted back, my house costs more than this, and I'm just some guy, and not a whole country.
just a big flex. Just took it out.
It's true, dude. How are you going to say we're going all in on science and you invest 30 million pounds?
I know it's really not. I mean, dude, but what's expected? I mean,
sorry, 30 million euros, not pounds.
I don't mean a dog on the EU, but like, I mean, dude, they're always behind on technology initiatives. Always.
Yeah.
You know, it's they. Listen, they're not really. They never were really on the cutting edge of tech, in any regards, in my opinion. Or, you know, they're not in the game of being the biggest and the baddest in the space.
Yeah,
is what I'm trying to say.
You guys should check out a podcast from Diary of the CEO. It is called. Let me tell you one sec. New. It's been out for just a few weeks. It's called "The Man Warning the West: Trump is Changing the World Behind the Scenes." And it basically breaks down what's going on with all the powers in the U.S., in China, Russia, EU, why China is like poking the waters with Taiwan, why Russia is poking the waters with Ukraine, because there hasn't been kind of like a deal or power structure since World War II. And EU has been kind of quote unquote taking it easy since then and not really doing anything. So that's why Britain and the EU are kind of falling off, and their taxes keep going up higher, but they're not really innovating or doing anything.
Yeah.
Whereas they used to a lot. But anyway, a lot to cover on that pod, but it's a really good pod to just go over like what countries are building what, how they're advancing, and excuse me, and why there's so much global tension and global like poking to see where the true powers are really at.
Dude, one more thing about NASA, kind of off, kind of little random, but like, dude, I didn't know NASA had a like, they're called an ERT team, like a special, like emergency response team. They basically have like their own like SWAT team. Dude, these guys are kitted out, man. Like I mean, completely, I mean, just a little side thing, but pretty cool. I mean, they're like real deal special ops dudes, but they strictly work for NASA.
It's my fault. I'm trying to send a link into the chat. Apologize. Boop. There you go.
Damn. All right. So we got. I'm sorry. You had one more topic on the world news, and then I'll get into the stock market. Yeah, dude. Have you guys been following this crazy kidnapping that happened of that Today Show's anchor's mother?
No.
Oh my gosh, man. So Nancy Guthrie is an 87-year-old woman. She's the mother of NBC's Today Show co-anchor Savannah Guthrie. She was abducted from her home in Tucson, Arizona, on February 1st. when she was after dinner with family, she got dropped off at home, and someone or a group of people kidnapped her. And what's crazy about this is like ransom demands are starting to surface from the group. They want $5 million or $6 million in Bitcoin, or they're threatening to murder her. They gave deadlines for that. One was February 5th, but that passed. And the next one was 9 p.m. February 9th, today. And we'll see what happens. But if they didn't do anything I don't know, they could be blowing smoke. But yeah, I mean, there seems to be a group holding this poor old lady for ransom, which is just insane.
Why? Do we know why her specifically?
I have no idea. I mean, it could just be like a matter of like, all right, this is a public figure's mother,
What about this? So Jordan Payne just said, I think it's the mother of the guy who owns a company that was hired to scrub the internet of bad news about the Clintons.
I'm sorry.
Did I stump you?
I thought it was the mother of the Today Show's co-anchor, Savannah. Are they brother and sister? What does her brother do? We got some new news coming in. Anyways, the FBI did get involved. They put out a $50,000 reward for anybody that finds her or gives them information leading up to her. But dude, I just don't understand this at all. It is 2026. We have Palantir. We have cameras everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Cameron Guthrie's net worth has come into focus amid Mother Nancy's kidnapping the 84-year-old woman, yada, yada. The family has now received a $6 million ransom for the safe return. Cameron's net worth. His net worth is not a matter of public record. However, estimated can be made based on his job. Cameron is a retired F-16 pilot who served 26 years in the Vermont Air National Guard. So
the daughter makes $14 million a year. I mean, that makes more sense. See, this is guys. This is a typical. I don't want to say typical, but like this is what we call a wrench attack in crypto. A wrench attack is basically, you know, what it sounds like. You target somebody with a lot of money or a lot of crypto. You find them, you beat them up, you hold them captive, you torture them, like what happened in New York. Remember
what happened in Vegas at the
Manhattan?
ATMs, which is why I don't show my trades as much anymore.
These are what are called wrench attacks. He's already saying that the brother-in-law is super sus. But yeah. Anyways, back to what I was saying, man. I just don't understand this, right? With, you know, Palantir, all these cameras. We got Palantir, all these cameras, like on every street corner, pretty much, basically. And, you know, a Ring camera on pretty much every door in America, for the most part. And the FBI has no leads. They have no leads. They have no idea who it could be. They have no information, no vehicles, no persons of interest. Patel, you need to like do something, man. Like this is like the fifth high profile case you're a part of that you're taking forever to make some headwind on. Let's get after it.
I'm trying to find some information on the brother-in-law.
The brother-in-law, man.
Mm-hmm. His name is Tommaso Cioni. Cioni. What does Tommaso Cioni do?
He might do what Jordan Payne was just saying.
Oh, so maybe it's the brother-in-law and not the brother that does that, huh?
Yeah, Jordan could have meant brother-in-law. He just the scrubber theory. Ooh.
Okay, so it is the brother-in-law that scrubs. There we go. See, now we get it.
Oh, now it's not a typical neighborhood. They said there aren't a lot of lights and very dark at night.
Wait, but if this is all true, right? So it's the guy that scrubs the bad information about the Clintons.
That's the brother-in-law?
Mm-hmm. Tommaso Cioni.
Wait, Devin's saying it's her husband. You know, this could be done with a quick Google search with AI. It really can.
It says right there, the scrubber theory. Some social media commentary and unverified reports have suggested that Savannah Guthrie's brother-in-law, Tommaso Cioni, husband of Annie Guthrie, is involved in a company that scrubs the internet of negative information for the Clintons. These sources have speculated that the kidnapping might be related to this supposed role, or maybe because the Clintons are on public testimony in 3 weeks.
That's crazy. Yeah, but I thought she got kidnapped before the... Well, I mean, this could be a precautionary measure.
It could have been the Trump administration's like, kidnap this guy because he keeps erasing all the bad stuff about the Clintons online.
Dude, what if she... I mean, that doesn't make sense. I feel like they would take him into custody or kidnap him, instead of the mother. Like, do we think the brother-in-law is going to stop doing his job? Because, I mean, not to sound sensitive, but
yeah, like if it was my mother or my mother-in-law and they're like, hey, stop doing this, or yeah, I'd probably
but it's a ransom they're asking for Bitcoin.
Yeah, or they axe her.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Who knows how deep it goes? I don't know. This could be some 3-letter agency stuff. All right, let's talk about stock, shall we?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Cole said something funny when he was in town. He goes, we need more conspiracies because all of them became true.
I know, right? They were dude, Alex Jones was literally right on a lot of the things that he was saying.
Yeah, but now he's bought and paid for it.
Whoa, what?
Dude, Alex Jones used to talk the real stuff, but now he's bought and paid for. He was silenced. You remember when he was going to get sued for billions of dollars for the Sandy Hook stuff?
Yeah,
Ever since then, he's never been the same Alex Jones. He's been completely different. He's owned now.
He has toned it down a little bit for sure. Yeah. He still says some stuff though.
Yeah, he says like barely enough to like a little bit of keep his image.
He's careful now. I mean, dude.
He's owned by the people in these files.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, guys, so let's get into the stock market. CPI reports this Friday, February 13th, the consumer price index that measures inflation. So expect a little bit of volatility on Friday, depending how that comes out. But let's get into the stock market, what's happening. I'm going to go over some stocks too. The Dow Jones, guys, hit new all-time highs as of today. So, we've been talking about the sell-off, yada, yada, but the Dow Jones hits a new all-time high. The ETF is DIA, if you guys don't know it, hits new all-time highs. So what kind of drove the Dow Jones to bust to 50,000? So it's basically a sector rotation. You guys know the S&P 500 is the top 500 stocks of the world. You guys know that QQQ is basically the ETFs for technology. But there has been a shift in the sectors in the stock market. So the sectors that are performing the best right now are consumer staples like Walmart, Costco, Procter & Gamble, the Coca-Cola Company, Philip Morris. Next, what's leading is financials. That's like your Berkshire Hathaway, your JP Morgans, Visa, Bank of America. And then it's followed by industrials like your Caterpillar stock, GE Aerospace, Boeing, basically any airlines. And last but not least, it's utilities, guys, basically energy stocks. Energy stocks and energy ETFs, energy companies like NextEra, who have major deals with Google to accelerate nuclear energy programs, and they're going to develop multiple gigawatt data campuses across the U.S. So I also wrote down some of the best ETFs that will help you guys get some exposure into these sectors, because we are seeing some exhaustion in the tech sector, in the AI stuff, right? So I named off some of the best stocks in the consumer staples, right? Walmart, Costco, PG, et cetera, and I just named off a bunch of stocks for the other sectors that I named off. But if you guys want some ETF exposure into these sectors, when it comes to consumer staples, look at XLP. When it comes to financials, you want to look at XLF. When you look at the industrial sector, you want to look at XLI. And then when it comes to the energy sector, you want to look at XLU. So all of these ETFs that I've just named off in the last year have done anywhere from 14 to 17% returns. Okay. So what's nice about the ETFs is you don't have to go and pick every stock, right? For example, like you don't have to go find the Walmarts, the Costcos, the Bank of America, see how they're performing, yada, yada. You can invest in these ETFs if you want some exposure into these sectors.
It's crazy how fast the Dow Jones kind of moved, actually, because if looking back at it, like historically, like the Dow Jones, like it took decades for it to go from like 10,000 to 20,000. And then within like a little over a year, it went from 40,000 to 50,000, which is, again, insane for the Dow Jones. But yeah, I mean, this is all due to like an insane bull market, and people are saying tariffs were going to, nuke this stuff. Stuff like that.
Well, let's get into the market, into the long-term stuff. So let's digest some of earnings, guys, and what's happened, right? So Apple started rallying 4 days after earnings, and it fell 16% from all-time highs, but it's rallied 12% since that fall. Okay, Amazon just got wrecked over earnings. They dropped 10%. Now, Amazon fell 22% from all-time highs. Right now, it's down at 19%. Google also had good earnings, but they fell 12% from all-time highs. They're only down 7% from all-time highs right now. Nvidia is only down 12% from all-time highs. Facebook is only down 15% from all-time highs. Now, Microsoft has fallen 29% from all-time highs, and it's at minus 25% from all-time highs. And out of all the Magnificent Seven right now, I think Microsoft is the only value out of the seven that I see right now. All the others are still a little bit overpriced. And that just kind of goes to show that the market is changing and stuff is changing, because we had this massive sell-off on all the Mag 7, right? Big sell-offs, right? 10, 15, 20%. But Dow Jones just hit new all-time highs. S&P 500 and the NASDAQ are super close to all-time highs. And this is even after the massive crypto sell-off.
That makes me want to say this. I mean, dude, the Dow Jones is outperforming the S&P 500 right now and the NASDAQ.
Yeah, but that's super rare that happens.
Super rare.
Yeah.
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 So, well, bringing to my point, this feels kind of toppy.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
It feels toppy.
It's still giving me vibes like the sell-off is not just done yet. But we could, like I said, like we could see the sell-offs and stuff comes back, right? For example, Apple sold off, but it bounced back so quick. And fundamental-wise and earnings-wise, Apple crushed it. They did better than any other Mag 7, right? And let me talk about Tesla too, guys.
Talk about it.
Tesla is only 16% under from all-time highs, and it was at minus 22% from all-time highs at its lowest, and it's held that area of interest at $384, which is where it bounced back in November after it had a really good earnings. Tesla continued to run, and then it sold off in middle of November, but it bounced at that 384 level, and it bounced at the 384 level twice, and then Tesla again bounced off that 384 level just last week. And Tesla, if you guys heard the earnings, and I already see Jordan Payne typing, he's gonna say Optimus robot. I already beat you to it. Elon said in the last earnings that they're going to stop making the Model S, which is how Tesla blew up so big, and they're going to stop making the Model Y so they could use those use the factory output where those car models are made to produce more Optimus robots.
There's something I want to talk about the Optimus robots after you're done. But
yeah, I knew you were going to say it, Jordan. Mr. Tesla. You're Mr. Palantir. Jordan is Mr. Tesla. So, Elon's full focus is on Optimus, not the cars and going to space. And then also Google owns 10% of SpaceX, which we covered last week, which is why I'm saying even though it could feel kind of toppy, the market is changing like crazy. And these companies have exposure everywhere, like Google, search, AI, cloud, energy, space. Like they have these huge partnerships with energy companies to basically create nuclear energy. And then they have exposure into the space sector. Like these companies are getting crazy.
Yeah, it's a bunch of Enrons.
And just like Amazon, they own everything, bro.
Bunch of Enrons, man. Bunch of Enrons.
So you know, with looking at the sectors, like I don't really care to invest into the Max 7 right now. It's like quote unquote too expensive for me. It's too high right now to find any serious value except for Microsoft. And Tesla does give me some interest because it did bounce off of those key levels, but it's still not in bullish trend. But, you know,
Elon made a claim saying that Optimus robots were going to replace surgeons,
the best surgeons in 3
3 to
years
5
at
years.
scale too.
Yeah.
He was already saying there's already Optimuses that could do better surgeries than most surgeons, but he was saying it's going to be the best surgeon at scale in 3 years. Meaning mass robots at scale.
My brother just went to medical school.
Yeah, well, he got in the wrong field. So yeah, guys, but right, so stuff feels toppy, right? But these companies are changing like crazy, and the world is changing like crazy right now. And we got to remember, right? Elon's whole pay package, his insane pay package, is to get Tesla market cap to $8 trillion.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we keep forgetting, dude. Like that pay package has a lot of conditions that Elon needs to meet if he wants to see any bit of that money. And a part of that is mass scaling of Optimus bots. He's got to sell a certain amount of cars. He's got to do this. He's got to do that. You know, and that, in hindsight, all that does is accelerate the company forward.
Yep.
Because he has to. But yeah, insane.
So yeah, guys, I hope you guys can digest that. Think about where the ETFs are at in terms of all-time highs. Think about where the Magnificent Seven are trading at, where their all-time highs are at. Excuse me. And then think about the sectors right now, again, that are performing the best right now. It's consumer staples, financials, industrials, and utilities. And just to recap all the ETFs, consumer staples, XLP. Financials, XLF. Industrials, XLI. And then for the utilities, XLU. Another really popular one for the utilities and specifically for energy is XLE as well. And like I said, these have had 14 to 17% returns in the last year. So that's all I got for the stock market. We get into some crypto.
Yeah. Guys, you're going to wonder why is this relevant? Why does this matter? But it does. And we're going to break it down. Japan has a new prime minister, Sanai Takachi. She is very crypto friendly, and we're going to break down why this matters. Okay, so she just won the election for prime minister of Japan, and immediately the markets loved it. The USD JPY climbed 0.2% to 157, while BTC JPY jumped 5% after the victory. What she wants to do. And she's going to be very capable of because sorry, that threw me off.
Sorry, big dog.
Jeez. But anyways, yeah. So she's going to be doing sweeping reforms, and she's going to be slashing crypto taxes from right now. Japan has 55% tax on crypto, and she's going to change that to a 20% flat tax on crypto. She's going to also allow carry forwards on taxes, meaning you could do this in here in the U.S. by the way if you didn't know, but say if you have you claim a loss on your taxes for crypto, right, or stocks or whatever, you could only claim a certain amount, but the remaining amount could carry over into the next tax year, and you could reclaim that remaining amount. Japan's going to allow that now, and she definitely wants to start launching crypto ETFs, and they're projecting to have them by 2028. Japan has seen 120 plus year-on-year growth in on-chain value received, according to Chain Analysis. So why does this matter? In the macro grand scheme of things, right? Japan, at the end of the day, is the third largest economy in the world, and it's about to become one of the most crypto-friendly ones. If you guys, especially, you guys got to realize this too, right? I mean, a lot of the reason why crypto dips now especially for the past couple of years, has a lot to do with Japan's carry trade. A lot of U.S. investments get tied up into Japan's market through cheap yen, and then once that yen doesn't become cheap anymore, it starts to unwind because people don't want to lose money on their borrowed money. But yeah, so I mean, they're reducing to a 20% tax. That's even less than what we freaking pay. Yeah. To be honest, I think you're going to see a lot of money moving into crypto over the years.
And just to touch on that, like the yen has a 0.75% interest rate, which is very high for them, but for us, that's like nothing. Right.
What was the percentage of that?
0.75.
Yeah, dude.
Which is crazy high for them because they've always been as like 0.25. But
bro, they virtually have had like no inflation for like 10 years or more or longer.
But their money gets weaker. Can I interrupt with a little tax hack? If you don't mind. So for any of you guys that are treating trading like a business, which is many of us, you heard Justin talk about how you can only write off $3,000 in losses and then you can continue to carry that forward, okay?
Yeah.
So for you folks who are doing quite a bit of trading now, you can file for what's called a TTS tax filing. That's called a trader tax status. With the TTS filing, you can basically qualify your trading as a business and it allows you to write off expenses like a normal Schedule C. And there's a caveat to that. Now, if you file for TTS with a MTM election, mark-to-market election, you can write off all losses. It removes the $3,000 limit. So let's say, guys, you got into trading and your first 1, 2, 3 years, you were not profitable. This is a super hack. You guys need to listen closely. Let's say you were not profitable your first 1, 2, whatever years of trading. Let's say you lost 25 grand year 1, you lost 25 grand year 2, and now year 3, you're deep in the profits. You can use that year to file for the MTM, and then you can bring forward all of your losses to continue to avoid any capital gains that you guys might have. So if you are trading a lot and you want to get past some of the tax stuff, look into TTS with an MTM election, and you can write off trading like a business. You can write off everything in your office as an asset. If you love Pokemon like me, let's say this is my office right here, and I have a meeting here once a week about trading. Well, now it's business. If I bought a $500,000 Charizard and I hung it up on this wall right here, that is considered art from my office. It's considered an office asset. I can now write that off completely. So if I made $100,000 in trading, well, I spent $500,000 in office art, so I actually lost $400K this year. That's what you guys can do with the TTS. Just think about it. I'm not a tax expert. Talk to your tax professionals.
Yeah, talk to your tax professional, but that was some sauce, if you ask me. Wow. It almost sounded like you were sponsored by them. By that thing.
By the IRS.
By the IRS.
Tax, yeah.
Wanting to promote that specific thing.
No, the IRS doesn't want people to know that.
I'm just saying that. I mean, it was flowing.
I know. It almost sounded like
it was flowing.
It sounded like I needed to pitch some tax expert.
Like you had some sort of deal. Like you had some sort of backdoor deal with that.
Guys, if you need somebody to help you with this, I can refer you somebody. I don't get a cut.
Let's talk about why Bitcoin crashed. Why did Bitcoin crash? Friday was Friday, right? Or Thursday. Thursday going into Friday.
Feb
4th and 5th.
Like the big crash? Like the one that happened quick?
Yes.
Or which one?
The one that just happened quick.
It was like the February 4, 5, 6-ish. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a rumor going around, and it seems kind of credible. It seems like it kind of makes sense. But the people that notice this are waiting for their filings to come out on February 13th, I think. Like certain filings that like reveal their positions and their trades and everything like that. But, aside from Bitcoin aligning with its traditional 4-year cycle, thin liquidity in the market, the Kevin Warsh nomination and over leveraged positions on why Bitcoin is where it is right now. If you guys remember, we were talking about, especially in the chat, like something like some firm fund or whatever had to blow up for it to just spike down like that quickly. And people are speculating that it is Brevan Howard. Brevan Howard is a pretty big financial institution investment firm. And I'm going to read this. So the first piece of data that I saw, and then I'll give you an update on it, was a large non-crypto entity likely based in Hong Kong, Brevan Howard. Talking about Brevan Howard here. They also have a location in Hong Kong. Was running JPY, Japanese yen, carry trade funding into leveraged. Again, talking about why Japan plays crucial roles in crypto, right? A carry trade funding into leveraged IBIT options, BlackRock's IBIT, Bitcoin ETF product, plus Binance options, plus precious metals. October 10th, they actually got wrecked, right? That was like the beginning of it. And you guys remember October 10th was a $19 billion liquidation all over the whole crypto market. And then a prime broker granted them 90 days to cover their losses somehow or whatever. The entity doubled down. We're talking about Brevan Howard again on post-market recovery trades. And then the Kevin Warsh nomination came, right? And then it destroyed the recovery trades. Destroyed it. So then gold, their gold went down 11%. Silver went down 31%. Now the firm's underwater on all legs. Yeah, and February 5th, basically February 5th when everything crashed, forced them to unwind everything. This is when IBIT did $10.7 billion in volume that day, 900 million options premium, both all-time records.
I got a bit to add to that.
Yeah, after this update. And then here's the update following that. Brevan Howard is the largest institutional IBIT holder at $2.3 billion. They also trade precious metals as a core part of their macro book. Bloomberg reports their 1.4 billion FG funds is shutting down, seizing external capital by the end of June. If they trimmed even 30% of the IBIT position, that's 700 million in sell pressure. Again.
Yeah. So remember how we were saying, guys, hedge funds get wrecked all the time. Look at what happened with GameStop. Look at what happened in the 07-08 financial crisis, right? Institutions get wrecked all the time. What did we just talk about with silver? TD Ameritrade got blown up on their short. They got stop lossed out at 95. It caused a massive quick spike because the shorts had to cover. When a lot of shorts cover, the asset spikes.
Yeah.
So just like all the shorts that covered on Bitcoin, that's why Bitcoin spiked 10K. And also, did you guys know that Binance was purposely liquidating shorts from 60K to 70K? Binance was doing a lot of that buying and liquidating shorts.
Yeah, they're always doing sketchy shit.
Yeah, that's why I hate CZ. But let me touch up on that in a sec. But anyway, so institutions get blown up all the time. TD Ameritrade got blown up on silver. Silver spiked up to 105 the day that they got liquidated, and then silver got slammed back down to 60, 70. Those are firms attacking other firms, basically. Like with GameStop, it was Fidelity, it was Vanguard, and there was one more hedge fund that basically blew out Melvin Capital short. They attacked them, and this happens all the time. So when we see these like hedge funds or these like accredited investors, they're humans. They got emotions. They're just like traders. A lot of these hedge funds do moving average strategies. They do fib strategies. They do the same stuff that we do. They just got more money, and they got the cooler tools, of course. But they can get blown out. They can be over leveraged. How many times did we see this with Three Arrows Capital, with FTX, with Luna, over leveraged to the gills, and then one thing falls and it creates a domino effect of everything else getting wrecked.
Yeah. It's so funny too how this like happens in such like a perfect timely manner too. You guys usually every Bitcoin down year or like crash happens because of greed, and this just happens. It's just because over 3 years of bull, people just build up greed until everything just gives out. And it's funny how it happens like in 4-year cycles like that.
Speaking of cycles, how do you guys think we know when the stuff is going to happen so well and we get these levels so well? Well, I'll tell you what, it was a lot of years of pain, a lot of years of losing, and then a lot of years of studying and being like, oh crap, what the hell was I doing this whole time? So if you guys watched the video that I posted in 2023, it was January 2023. I was recapping the end of 2022 crypto. And if you guys remember a very important video that Blaster posted in November of just last year, explained much more in depth. Every single time since Bitcoin was made, Bitcoin went up for 1,065 days, and then it consolidated for 1 year. It went up for 1,065 days, consolidated for 1 year. This has happened 4 cycles in a row. 4 times 4, it's 12. The last 12 years, this has happened. Up 3 years, down 1 year with consolidation. Up 3 years, down 1 year with consolidation. The same thing happened again. After 1,065 days, that was the middle of October, we started to dip back down again. And we went back down to our key levels. So you guys remember the last rally on Ethereum started at 1,500. That's why I said this time it could happen at 1,750, and we bottomed at 1,750 so far. So that's because it keeps the chart in play. It keeps the patterns in play. So if you guys follow these levels, you can get some phenomenal DCAs. And I'm going to cover the key DCA levels on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana one more time on this live right now. So, were you going to say something, Jay?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Well, I was, but like I was waiting for you to finish.
So on Bitcoin, guys, it's 68K, 61K, and 58K. The exact is 61.8K and 58.5K. Those are key levels, okay? For Ethereum, the key levels under 2150 are 1850 to 1750. Under 1750, it drops down to 1500. And then for Solana, guys, the key levels are 65 to 70. Look at where we bounced on Sol. It was at $67. The other key levels are 80 to 85 and 92 to 95. And then the barrier to entry is at 100. So we've hit all those levels perfect DCAs. One thing to note, guys, these bottoms happen way quicker than you can imagine. Just when you think it's going to go lower is when it stops. So that's why we put these DCA levels, to not try to time the bottom perfectly, but to make sure that you don't miss the bottom and keep thinking that it's going to go lower. Am I saying it's not going to go lower? No. But is it going to go lower by much? I doubt it. Because if it does go lower by much more, then we're talking a serious market reversion. And I don't think the current administration wants that, because the current administration is doing, well, quite a few crypto deals and a lot of funneling through World Liberty Financial. But we can save that for next week's episode. There's a lot of stuff that they're doing with World Liberty, with UAE, with Saudi. A lot of stuff, but let's cover that next episode. But please follow those key levels, and please don't try to get the bottom perfect, because I'm telling you, it happens way faster. Look at COVID. One day it spiked and it never went back down to those levels again. You had 1 day to catch the bottom for COVID, 1 day, and it never hit that low again. It was gone. So with Bitcoin, if 60K was the bottom and you guys missed it, you guys are going to really, really hate yourselves. That's all I got on crypto, bro. What about you?
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah. Other than that, there's some other little crypto news going on. Just to end things off on a little funny note. some things that I noticed. But is there anybody in here that uses the crypto exchange BitThumb?
Nope.
That South Korean exchange. Well, it's the South Korean exchange. Dude, they sent 2,000 BTC to everybody on accident. They were supposed to send like their rewards thing. Like, you know how these little exchanges do like little rewards distribution things. They accidentally, they somehow sent over all their BTC to everybody, but they managed to recover 99% of it. I don't know how. I mean, well, that's centralized exchanges for you, man. They could just pull and take funds whenever they want.
I wish somebody accidentally put 2,000 Bitcoins in my account.
I would have transferred it out immediately.
They
probably shut down transfers immediately too when that happened.
Right. And the terrible Coinbase commercial.
Oh my God! Did you guys see the Coinbase Super Bowl ad? What was that? What was the point of that?
What kind of bootleg karaoke commercial was that?
What? I didn't get it. I didn't understand it at all. Did you? Like, what was the message in that?
I don't know. Everybody sing along. I don't know.
Was that the thing? Was that it? Just everyone look at the screen, sing along, and then at the end it says Coinbase to try to get people in there?
I don't know, but I thought
it was stupid, ridiculous. Multi-billion-dollar company making some BS. That's when you know a company has too much money to spend. Yeah. When they start throwing out BS ads like that, like commercials like that, like what was that? Dude, on another note though, Coinbase crypto-backed loans hit record liquidations, man. 170 million wiped out via Morpho in a week. And 90 million on Thursday alone during the crash. Kathy Woods also sold $19 million, but Coinbase is all over the news. Kathy Woods, if you don't know who Kathy Wood is, if you know who ARK Invest is, it's a huge firm. She's a giant investor in the financial world. She sold $19 million in her Coinbase shares just day after buying more of the stock. And guys, I knew this was going to happen. That fake Mr. Beast token, that all those piece of shit influence. Sorry, I got to go on a rant here. I have to. Those slimy dirtbag piece of shit influencers that you saw peddling all over social media, literally saying, "Oh, Mr. Beast is gonna announce this on Super Bowl, this and that, yada yada yada," just lying to your face, this and that. Granted, you could have made money in this token, but like we always said, it was an inbounding rug waiting to freaking happen, and the timing on it was just as I expected, right? The token went from 180 mil to like 800K in market cap within like a day, basically on Super Bowl. And the reason, look, not everybody is a trencher, guys. Okay, yeah, you could have been in and out of this rug, made some quick bucks, but a lot of people here are just still retail small investors that don't know any better and then probably are still holding this damn thing. I personally didn't touch this. I didn't. I knew it was going to collapse at any minute, just didn't know when exactly. That's why I didn't touch it.
What did the market cap go to?
180 mil.
Down to what?
800K.
Oh, God.
Dude, the chart's insane.
Liquidated.
Point is, don't beat yourself up over it, man. I mean, Mr. Beast even came out and said it wasn't his token, but whatever. These are the type of things that kill the space right here. These things, like, if these keep happening repeatedly over and over and over again, and these just happen, there's just rugs every day, and this is a big profile rug in my opinion. These things just,
what was that? What was that crazy rug from, I think, 2020 or 2021? It was that like new ETH that Kanye, Kim, they all promoted. Even the clubs. I think it was called EN.
Dude,
I don't want to say ENA.
No, it was called Ethereum. It was like a red and black logo. Like, I know what you're talking about.
Right.
I think it was called ETH Max.
ETH Max, there it is.
Yeah, God.
Kim Kardashian paid over $1.25 million in fees for that, but you probably made.
Look, here's Floyd wearing a T-shirt about it.
Reminds me of the scam BitConnect. Yeah, it was 2021. Anyway, guys, that's what we got for the market take this week. Hope you guys got some valuable information on world news, stocks, and crypto. But more importantly, guys, don't be somebody that just listens and listens and listens and doesn't take action on anything. So make sure you take action on some stuff. That's all.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Like, comment, do all those things. Really helps the channel out. But yeah, peace out, guys. You guys are awesome.
Peace. Thanks, everybody.